If you woke up inside a coffin in the 1800s, you'd have a small chance of survival. Look, since there were too many cases of people being buried alive during that time, a tube was connected from the coffin to the surface to let air flow in. On the grave, a bell was connected to a rope that ran down into the coffin. If you woke up trapped, pulling the rope would ring the bell, giving the signal to the cemetery workers that you were still alive. In 1970, a doctor cut off a monkey's head and replaced it with another, meticulously connecting the neck tissues to the new head. The monkey survived, regained consciousness, and could see and hear, but the spinal cord couldn't be properly connected, making the monkey completely unable to move its body. And although the operation was technically a success, the monkey only managed to live for a few days.
Your American friend's parents invite you to sleep over at their house. Do this so you don't look ridiculous. Bow down to greet them, hide your Chinese iPhone before going inside, and don't touch the guns in the house, or ask why they don't get along with their neighbors. But be careful, never make jokes about 9/11. They never land so well. On the other hand, if you need anything, ask your friend and never the parents. They'll get angry with you since they're so fat that they can't get up off the couch. But if you're confused because there's oil leaking from the garden, remember, don't even think about touching it, or you'll get the family in trouble. Finally, you're not allowed to close the windows after midnight. If a robber breaks in, the dad will be happy because he'll get to use his guns.
If a killer breaks into your house, turn off the lights and put pillows in your bed. The killer will think you're sleeping and you'll catch him. If you get bullied and they always steal your food, put laxatives in the food. They'll get diarrhea and won't steal from you again. If you travel to a country you don't know, never take a taxi at the airport. They are professional scammers and will steal all your money. If you're stupid and get lost in a dangerous neighborhood, don't turn around and keep walking. If you turn around, the criminals will think you don't live there and will kill you. If you're an idiot and put cutlery in the microwave, get out as fast as possible. If the waves hit the metal, your house will explode. If you fire a gun at another gun and the bullets manage to collide mid-air, they will probably shatter into 1,000 pieces due to the high-speed impact. But in some cases, if the bullets are made from the same material and the right conditions and angle happen, the intense heat and pressure from the impact could cause the bullets to fuse together into a single piece of metal. If you watch the sunset from the ground of the tallest building in the world and take a very fast elevator to the top floor, you could watch the sunset a second time. This happens because the earth is round, and the higher you go, the farther you can see the horizon. It also works if you're lying down watching the sunset. Stand up quickly and you'll be able to see it again. The bullet was fired at the house. Inside, a woman and her fiancé panicked when they saw that the bullet was heading straight for her. But in the middle, a metal thermos full of water was sitting on the table. Instead of hitting the woman, the bullet struck the thermos, and the impact bent the metal, protecting her and saving her life. If you see red mushrooms in the woods, check to see if they look like umbrellas. Even if Super Mario eats them and grows bigger, you'll get killed by the poison and die. If someone tries to choke you using a plastic bag, don't breathe and exhale all the air at once to inflate the bag. If you bite it, it'll pop like a balloon and you'll be able to breathe. If you're starving to death, look for trees with soft and moist leaves. If you suck on them, you'll gain energy but they won't kill you. If you get kidnapped, start peeing yourself. The kidnappers will get tired of the bad smell and they'll set you free. If your nose starts bleeding right before a date, don't put water on your nose. You'll stop bleeding for about 5 minutes, but the blood will build up inside your nose and you'll look ridiculous. If you have a bad toothache, rub ice on the back of your hand. The cold will trick your brain and it will forget about the tooth pain. If you fall into quicksand, don't make sudden movements. Instead, lean back and you'll end up floating to the surface. If you want to cool a drink really fast, wrap it in a wet cloth and put it in the freezer. 5 minutes later, it'll be ice cold.
If a thief breaks into your house, use a baseball bat with a sock on it to defend yourself. If the thief tries to grab the bat, it will grab the sock instead. If you're diving into someone else's pool, check the depth before jumping. It might be very shallow, and you could crack your neck. If you're walking to your car at night, keep your car keys in your hand. This will help you get in your car quicker, and if someone attacks you, you can use them as a weapon. If you're walking down the stairs, never put your hands in your pockets. If you lose your balance and fall, you won't be able to grab the handrail.
If you see a bill that's clean and wrinkle-free on the ground, don't pick it up. The bill has an invisible string and someone's pulling a prank for YouTube. If you find a USB stick on the ground, don't plug it in your computer out of curiosity. It's a trick that hackers use to steal your credit card information. If a poor child asks for help at night, don't follow him down dark alleys. He is the son of a criminal gang, and he has tricked you to rob you. If a stranger stains your clothes accidentally and offers to help clean them while apologizing, keep a close eye on their hands. It's a trick that pickpockets use to steal money. If you're lost in the forest, follow these 5 rules to survive. First, don't move. The rescue team will only search where you were seen before disappearing, not where you might have gone. Second, find water. You can survive 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. But before drinking it, you need to filter it. Fold your shirt 4 times and pour the water through it. This helps remove dirt, bugs, and bacteria. Third, signal SOS. Make 3 signals of anything repeatedly. 3 flashlight flashes, 3 loud whistles, or even 3 fires. Fourth, build a shelter. Use branches, rocks, and bushes. Gather everything and make sure the roof won't collapse. Lastly, make a fire. Rub a stick fast against dry leaves on top of a log. When smoke appears, blow on it while still rubbing. Fire will help you stay warm, boil water, and especially catch the attention of rescuers.
If you show your house to your new girlfriend, don't try to hide your true passions. She might think you're a weirdo, but you could also find the love of your life. If you're sentenced to prison, but the judge asks you for a lot of money in exchange for your freedom, don't even think about paying it. It could be an honesty test to trick corrupt people. If a fish hook gets stuck in your finger, don't try to remove it by pulling it out. Instead, push it inwards and cut the tip with some pliers. If you have to sleep in the cold snow, look for a dead animal and sleep inside its body. Even though it's disgusting, you won't freeze to death during the night.
You hang out with your friends, but no one pays attention to you. Do this to become the group leader. Try to be the first to take action if you're all bored. Put down your phone and come up with a fun plan. But there's a problem, your group already has a leader. When they try to act cool in front of everyone, secretly steal the spotlight. If they tell an interesting story, interrupt with an even better one. On the other hand, don't be afraid to draw attention to yourself. But be careful, you don't want to be the clown of the group either. Finally, a good leader is the first to help out others. Was your friend cheated on? Take him out partying so he stops crying.
Did you know they updated chess? They added 4 new pieces. First, the monkey. It only jumps over pieces to an empty square, and if it lands on a rival piece, it captures it. Second, the elephant. It acts like a bishop, moving diagonally, but only for 2 squares. Then, the crow. Each turn it can fly to any empty square on the chessboard, but it can only capture monkeys and elephants on turns 20, 30, and 40. Finally, the bear. There's only 1 per game, and it starts in the middle of the board. It moves like the king, and it's only for blocking others or helping the monkey. Also, to win, you must capture both the king and the queen. If you're at your rich friend's house and break something, don't try to hide it. They have security cameras all over the house and they'll catch you. If you're at the beach and bury your whole body in the sand, do not do it near the water. If the tide rises, you'll slowly drown. If you're away from home and need to charge your phone, don't use public USB outlets. It's a trick hackers use to steal your information. If you're alone in a movie theater and a stranger sits next to you for no reason, pretend you're getting a phone call and change seats. It's very likely that he's a child kidnapper.
In 2001, a thief got completely stuck in a chimney while he was trying to rob a house, and the homeowner, unaware there was someone inside, lit a big fire. The chimney quickly filled with black smoke and extreme heat, and the thief began to scream and call for help. But the fire and smoke had grown so intense that they drowned out his cries. When the firefighters arrived at the scene of the crime, they discovered the lifeless body of the thief inside the chimney. If you're cheating on a test and you accidentally make eye contact with the teacher, don't try to play it off by pretending you're thinking. The teacher will suspect you and you'll look ridiculous. If something gets stabbed into your body, don't try to pull it out of the wound. That will only make you lose more blood. Instead, cover the hole with your clothes and run to the hospital. If you get a raise at work, don't tell your co-workers how much you're making. They'll think it's unfair and might try to get you fired. If you're going to sunbathe naked in your backyard, make sure no neighbors are on their balconies. They might come out to look and get a disgusting surprise. If you're walking down the street and a thief tries to rob you, act crazy and shout words in Chinese very loudly. If the thief thinks you're mentally unstable, he'll get scared to death. If you're in a casino and win a lot of money, get out of there fast. It's a trick casinos use to keep you playing until you lose all your money. If you're rich, never take designer clothes to a laundromat. It's very likely that criminals are hiding there to rob you. If you're eating something sweet but taste something sour, run to the doctor immediately. You've eaten poisoned bacteria and you'll die. A town in the United States started noticing a very strange smell in 1970. The water tasted bitter and people began to get sick. But what they didn't know was that their homes had been built on top of a toxic waste cemetery. Decades before the town was built, 20,000 tons of chemical waste had been buried underground by a nuclear laboratory. When construction of the town began, the waste started seeping into basements, gardens, and the water supply. The disaster led to the urgent evacuation of the entire neighborhood, and many families suffered long-term health problems.
The weirdest allergies in the world. This girl is allergic to human hair. When she was 13, a horrible itch spread all over her body. This forced her shave her head entirely and get all the hair on her body removed. Now she's completely bald, but happy. Something worse happens to this boy who's allergic to electromagnetic radiation. He can't use phones, microwaves, or TV, not even Wi-Fi, because he gets dizzy and throws up suddenly. Finally, Joe O'Leary is allergic to exercise. In 2015, Joe ate a pizza and then went to work out. Suddenly his eyes swelled and he stopped breathing. Turns out his allergy only activated when he ate right before exercising. The weirdest allergies in the world. This girl is allergic to his dad. She can't stand getting near him or even touch him. That's because his dad smokes a lot and she's allergic to the nicotine in his sweat. Now, Olivia Brown is allergic to shoes. In 2010, she got a new pair of cowboy boots for her birthday, but by night her feet were covered in blisters and discovered she was allergic to real leather. So now she hates boots and uses regular shoes. Finally, one rainy day, this man was getting back from work when he started swelling and discovered he's allergic to the polluted rain in the city. Now he must go everywhere with a raincoat and umbrella. If you're a dirty guy and you're staying at a friend's house, never brush your teeth with his toothbrush. Besides being totally gross, you can also catch diseases from his saliva. If you've been dating your new girlfriend for 3 days, don't buy her the new expensive iPhone with your credit card. If she leaves you for another guy, you'll keep paying for her phone every month. If a random police arrest you by mistake on the street, don't insult the judge and shut your mouth. Anything you say can be used against you. And if you're innocent, they will set you free. If you're going to use the plain bathroom, don't push the toilet button while you're sitting. The toilet makes a strong vacuum suction that you could get stuck.
Tic-tac-toe 2 update. Now, instead of using X's and O's, in every turn, you must draw a horizontal or vertical line. And if you want, you can block your opponent on your turn. Also, to win, you must complete 3 crosses in a row. This way, there can never be a tie, and games last twice as long. But playing like this, the second player would win 90% of the time. That's why there's a rule to make it fair. No player can draw on top of the opponent's last move. So if you play in an empty spot, your rival can't put their line on top of yours right after your turn. This way, Tic-tac-toe 2 is perfectly balanced.
When a frog hops into a giant tarantula burrow, it seems like it's walking right into a trap. But before attacking, the spider touches the frog with its legs. And if the frog has the right chemical signals, it's safe. The frog helps by munching on ants that could attack the spider's eggs. In return, the tarantula becomes the frog's bodyguard, scaring off much bigger predators. This might make the frog seem like a pet, but in reality, they are just roommates that respect each other. If you throw a party at your house, don't leave your belongings in plain sight. People could touch them and break them by accident. If you're at a restaurant and the food takes a long time, don't complain to the waiter every 5 minutes. He could get angry at you and add a special ingredient to your food. If you buy something expensive online, record a video while opening the packet. If it arrives broken or doesn't work, you'll have proof that you didn't break it. If you're at a restaurant and it smells bad, go to the bathroom and check if it's clean. If it's dirty, the kitchen will also be very dirty and you'll get poisoned and die.
Things everyone did when they were a kid. Pointing at yourself on the little supermarket screen, hitting the leaves when walking under a tree, trying to erase with that eraser that erased nothing and actually made everything worse. Closing the fridge slowly to see if the light would turn off, waking up at 7:27 when the alarm was at 7:30 and going back to sleep for those 3 minutes, or waiting for your fingers to recharge so you could fit them back together again. Treat. If you find oil in your backyard, can you keep it? Even though the oil is on your land, it doesn't mean you're automatically rich, because depending on where you live, you might only own the surface of the land and not what's beneath it. But then, who does the oil belong to? It might belong to a company, although normally it tends to be government property. But even if the oil does belong to you, there are laws about how and when you can extract it depending on the country. In Dubai, you can take the oil without any problem, but in the United States, there are stricter environmental laws. If your country lets you dig, you have 3 options. Lease it to a company that will keep a share of the oil, sell the land and earn millions of dollars, or take a risk and extract the oil yourself. If you're at the beach, but the sand is extremely hot, wet your feet with water. You'll make a ball of wet sand that protects you from the heat. If you're about to die in the snow and you don't have a hat, take off your pants and put them on your head. If your brain freezes, you could die from hypothermia. If you're talking to your grandpa, but he falls asleep while talking, ask him to count from 1 to 5. If he can't, he might be suffering a stroke. If your dad calls you, but he just wants to ask you for money, turn on airplane mode. He'll think you don't have signal and he'll stop calling you. If you escape from prison and the police chase you with dogs, jump in a river and take off your clothes. The water will wash away your scent and the dogs won't be able to follow your trail. If you live in a country with a lot of earthquakes, never sleep next to a window. During earthquakes, windows often break and a shard of glass could cut you in half. If you're stuck inside a sinking car, open the window to let water fill the car. This will equalize the pressure inside and outside the car, and you'll be able to open the door without any problem. If you're lost in the woods and eat poisonous berries, take 2 fingers on your hand and stick them deep down your throat. This will force your body to vomit and expel the poison.
Why do bathrooms have a gap under the door? Going into the bathroom at school or at a restaurant can be uncomfortable due to the lack of privacy. But these gaps exist for your own safety. If you faint while inside, the gap allows others to get in and help you without issue. It also helps monitor that no one is doing anything illegal inside the bathroom. And finally, if you get locked in because the door is stuck, you can easily crawl out underneath. If you ever get kidnapped, and the kidnappers ask you to speak on the phone with your family so they know you're alive, do not talk and pretend to be dead. If your family can't confirm you're alive, they won't pay the ransom and the kidnappers will let you go. If you're broke and go out to dinner with your friends, suggest playing a game where the waiter randomly chooses who has to pay for everything. If you pay the waiter $1 beforehand so he doesn't choose you, you won't have to pay for your meal. If your boss is always bothering you and asks you to make him a coffee, put decaf coffee in the mug. He'll get sleepier than usual and will leave you alone. If you're broke and you don't have money to buy an alarm clock, put a bucket with ice cubes on the ceiling. When the sun comes out, the sun rays will melt the ice and the water will wake you up.
If you're on a train that's about to fall from a bridge, the smartest thing to do is stay completely still. If the carriage stabilizes, use the seats as steps and move slowly toward the back. A lot of people will try to unlink the carriage to balance it, but the carriages will probably drag each other, making the entire train fall. Instead, try to use the emergency brakes so the brakes will be applied to every carriage and you can get out calmly. If you find money in another country, can you keep it? In Japan, if you return lost money to the police, you're given 10% of the money as a reward if the owner shows up. Although many people in Japan never accept the reward out of honesty, the owner of the money usually shows gratitude with a homemade gift or a sweet treat. But in Germany, whoever finds lost money has the right to the Finder loan. 5% of the money on the first $500 and 3% of the rest when the owner claims the money. But what if no one claims the money? In many countries, if the owner doesn't claim the money, the person who finds it can keep it. But if neither the owner nor the finder claims it, countries like the United States have a law called bona vacantea, meaning the money is kept by the government, the politicians, and the president.
A bear started chasing a woman in her backyard, trying to attack her. But just before it could kill her, her sausage dog barked and bit the bear, forcing it to stop the attack. The bear slashed him, cutting through his skin, but the dog didn't give up, and the distraction gave the woman just enough time to defend herself. The dog chased the bear, barking non-stop until it disappeared into the forest.
The killer's riddle. As a kid, he was bothered by his little brother's crying. He impulsively killed him and threw him into the well. The next day, without knowing why, the body had disappeared. As a teenager, he fought with his best friend over something he forgot, but it seemed enough to kill him and throw the body into the well. Once again, the next day, the corpse wasn't there. 5 years later, he killed his first girlfriend accidentally, although he could not deny that he liked it very much. Expecting the well to work its magic again, he threw the body and the next morning, it disappeared. He also killed his boss because he was not very good at taking orders. He threw him into the well and was never found. At close to 40 years old, he somehow found the courage he'd never had until that moment. He killed his own mother. Killing her was as special and intimate as he had ever imagined. He threw her inside the well, and the very next day, her body was still.
If you're in danger but can't stop to use your phone, press the power button 5 times in a row. It will activate a code to quickly call emergency services. If you don't know what to give someone for their birthday, tell them you already bought something and ask them to guess. Just pick one of the options they say and buy it. If you're about to eat bread but see that it has a little mold, do not just cut off the part with fungus and eat the rest. Mold has deep roots that have already spread through the whole bread. Always carry 2 phones, one cheap and one expensive. If someone tries to rob you, you can hand over the fake one and keep the real one.
The world's strangest allergies. First, a girl with an allergy to water. Her condition stops her from getting into a pool, sweating, crying, or even showering without having a very strong reaction in her body. Second, a boy allergic to the sun. This kid can't go to the beach or go outside without feeling like his skin is burning. He can only wait until nightfall in order to go out and play. Third, an allergy to money. In 2010, a woman went shopping and came back with her whole body covered in itchy rashes. When she got home, she found that she was allergic to the ink used in paper bills, so now she only uses her credit card. Finally, a dog was rescued from the street, but it was losing a lot of fur and its skin was irritated. Then its allergy was discovered. It was allergic to human contact. You're going back home, but a homeless person tries to attack you. Do this to be able to trick him. When you cross paths with the homeless person, analyze his movements. He's probably drunk and you can escape easily. On the other hand, if he takes a rat out of his pocket, don't look disgusted. If he notices, he will order the rat to bite you. But what happens if he starts screaming at you for no reason? Take a sandwich from your backpack and throw it far away. There's a good chance he's very hungry and will go after the food. When he leaves, run without looking back and go into the closest store. Stay there for a few minutes. The homeless person will return, but after not seeing you, he will end up leaving. Now run home, tell your mom, and subscribe to BigDanBaby. Foods that were invented by accident. First, donuts. In the 17th century, a boy's mother wanted to make sweet bread, but she was in a big hurry. Because of that, when cooking them, the dough in the center remained raw, and she decided to cut out the middle. Unintentionally, she created the donut, now condensed milk. 100 years ago, during a war, a scientist saw that the milk the soldiers drank spoiled very quickly due to the heat. While testing a method to make the milk last longer, he reached a result that the soldiers loved. Afterward, it started being sold in stores.
If you start working in a zone with high violent crime, buy a baby doll and pretend it's your newborn child. The thieves will feel sorry for you and won't try to rob you. If you cut your finger in an accident, wrap it in a cloth and cover it with lots of ice. That will help preserve the nerves and they will reconstruct it at the hospital. If you're an idiot and get a piercing on your tongue, never date someone with braces in their mouth. If you try to kiss, you might accidentally get stuck together. If you go to prison for the first time, don't talk to anyone and just punch the wall day and night. The inmates will think you're crazy and you'll be respected. If you're on a video call and want to hang up without seeming rude, turn on airplane mode on your phone. The other person will think you just lost signal. If you want to watch series and movies without paying, use Netflix's free trial and cancel it just before the 30 days. If you're on the bus and don't want to give up your seat to an elderly person, pretend you're asleep and don't hear anything. If you want to decorate your house on Christmas without spending money, buy ornaments with a 30-day return policy. After Christmas, return everything and you'll get your money back. If you try to be funny by making a joke about bald people, don't do it in public. You might be very close to some bodybuilders who are often bald. If you receive a large inheritance, don't tell your family. All your cousins and siblings will come asking you for money. If you buy a giant TV, never throw the box in the trash. If some thieves find the box, they'll break in at night to steal your TV. If you're going to sleep in a shady hotel, turn off the lights and inspect the eyes of all the paintings. They might have hidden cameras watching you in secret. When a human dies, their body begins to decompose, releasing a strong odor that can attract their pet, who, driven by hunger and their instinct, will begin to bite your body. Cats usually start with the softer areas like your nose and lips, while dogs, on the other hand, wait until your body starts to smell of death before trying to eat you. This behavior is not out of cruelty, but purely from survival instinct. If someone bigger than you wants to fight you, shout, "He has a hidden bomb." If there are police nearby, they'll tackle him and you'll be able to escape. If you want to buy something expensive in a store, take off its price tag and replace it with one from a cheaper item. Cashiers never check the items when scanning them. You can walk up to a kid with candy and take it right from his hand. He literally can't do anything. He's a kid. If you're babysitting your little brother but you're tired of him, tell him to play hide and seek and just don't look for him once he hides.
If a group of gorillas is chasing you, do this to escape. First, don't panic or run off without thinking. Get close to the nearest building and go into the women's restroom. That way, only female gorillas will be able to enter, and the number of gorillas is reduced by half. Next, grab your cell phone and pretend you're getting a call. Now, pretend to hang up and say it was your friend King Kong. The gorillas will go crazy to meet King Kong, and you'll tell them you can arrange a meeting with him if they take you to the beach. But when you get to the sea, call Godzilla on the phone so he can help you.
If you have an exam but you haven't studied, make friends with the smartest kid in class by giving him some candy. He'll help you cheat on the test and you'll get a perfect score. If you're going to watch the Barca vs Madrid Clasico, wear a jersey that's half Barca, half Madrid. The fans of both teams will hate you, but they'll also respect you. If you've been playing Minecraft for hours and you go outside, don't try punching a tree with your fist. In real life, trees are very hard and you'll break your hand. If you have a new neighbor who plays very loud music at night, set up speakers with scary music at their window. They will end up going crazy and they'll have to move out again. If you want to know if your girlfriend will still be pretty when she gets older, look closely at how attractive her mum is. If she's ugly, break up with her. If you want to escape from prison, do it during the night of Halloween. The guards will think you're dressed up as a prisoner and won't notice anything strange. If you want to get the attention of the girl you like, steal her pet and return it a few days later, pretending you found it. She'll be so grateful that she'll want to go out with you. If you want to get skins in video games without spending money, create a female avatar and use a girl's name. Weirdos will give you stuff to get your attention. If you're going down a water slide and you get stuck, don't try to climb back up. Instead, use your back to block the water and build pressure behind you, and slide down to gain speed. If you're in a war, don't try to play dead. If the enemies decide to check the bodies, you'll look ridiculous and they'll shoot you. If you're eating at a pizza buffet, don't try to start a competition to see who eats the most pizzas. You could choke while eating and end up having a heart attack. If you have pain in your teeth and a few days later it goes away for no reason, go to the dentist as soon as possible. The root of the tooth has died and you can't feel any pain. If you're at work and you find out that you've won the lottery, don't start breaking things or insulting your boss. The prize might be a small amount and you'll still need to keep working. If you're in a nightmare and can't wake up, try to find a way to die inside the dream. Your brain will wake up because it doesn't know what comes after death. If you're in a zombie apocalypse and your fat friend is eating all the food, push the fatty toward the zombies so they can eat him. You'll lose your friend, but you won't starve to death. If you're doing the dishes and the sink is full of foam, don't even think about putting your hand in. There could be a sharp knife hidden under the soap that you can't see. If you're a player in Squid Game, don't team up with really smart people. They'll betray you during the games and you'll die. If aliens ever invade Earth, do not try to befriend one. To the Martian visitors, you're nothing but a stupid little animal, and they'll experiment on you. If you're in the desert and find water, take off your shirt and wet it. When you're thirsty, squeeze it so you can drink the water droplets. If you're fighting in World War III, never take off your helmet. If you get shot, you'll die anyway. But if they throw a grenade, the helmet will protect you from the debris.
If you're going to live in a very tall building, never live above the 20th floor. If there's a fire in the building, the 20th floor is the highest the firefighter's ladder can reach, and they won't be able to come up. If you're being robbed and the thief has a very large belly, don't try to fight back. He's hiding a dwarf inside his belly who will come out and attack. If you're at the gym and run out of strength to lift the barbell, just tilt it to one side so the weight plates fall off. If you're on the street and there's a very violent fight, don't try to break it up or you'll get beaten up. Instead, call the police and enjoy. If you've been buried alive, don't try to break the lid of the coffin. Dirt will come in through the hole and you will end up completely buried. Instead, accept your destiny and start praying. If you get beat up and a tooth falls out, store it in a glass of cold milk. That will help preserve it correctly and your dentist will be able to put it back in. If you are going to swim in an infinity pool, never enter using a floaty. You could go over the edge and fall into the void. If you are walking near a construction site, never walk underneath it without looking up. If an object falls from above, it will crush your head. Your girlfriend's parents invite you over for dinner at their house. Do this to avoid looking ridiculous. Give them a gift, bow down to greet them, and don't criticize the house's decoration. If they ask you about politics, don't give your opinion. It's very likely they'll get very angry. But if the dad tells a bad joke, laugh anyway. On the other hand, when you go to dinner, don't start eating before everyone else. You'll seem rude and like you're starving. If the food is disgusting, eat it anyway and say that it's delicious. Finally, don't leave without washing the dishes, saying thank you for dinner, and subscribe to BigDanBaby. The weirdest allergies in the world. Part 2. This girl is allergic to clapping because she's allergic to the vibrations it causes. Every time she claps or rubs her hands together, her hands swell up to twice their size. Something similar happened to this other man who's allergic to electricity. One day he was rubbing a balloon on his head. The static gave him an electric shot, making his whole face swell. Now he avoids balloons and metal bars. And finally, Ethan Walker is allergic to wood. In 2013, he fell from his treehouse and got a wood splinter stuck in his finger. He had a fever for hours until doctors discovered that his blood becomes toxic when it touches wood.